If you feel like you're in a period of complete drought at the moment, where nothing's growing, changing, or bearing fruit in your life, I want to offer you some reassurance. What you need to remember is the plan we set in place, it never usually works out like that, but it's sort of like a logical linear plan. So if you're overweight and you don't have much confidence and you don't have a girlfriend or whatever it happens to be, you've created a plan. Maybe you said, my New Year's resolution, I'm going to start going to the gym, stick to my diet, and that's going to help me lose weight, build confidence, and get a girlfriend. They sort of go in a set order. You think it's going to be this thing, then that thing, then the next thing. But often, God's plan doesn't work like that, because God often works in a different way, where you have periods of complete drought, you're overweight, you've got no confidence, you don't have a girlfriend, your financial situation's not looking good, complete drought. But then you get all the blessings in one go. But if you're attached to the drought, if you have that as part of your character, you can miss all the blessings. So God often shows up in unexpected ways in our life. So I'm just encouraging you to be open to it. I'll share a quick story to illustrate this point. From a couple of years ago, my nan has a beautiful garden. She's got lovely plants, flowers, fruit trees, rose bushes, peonies, climbing jasmine, beautiful. One year, it didn't rain for what felt like months at a time, and there was a hosepipe ban in place, and her garden was just completely barren, arid, desolate. There was it was like a forest fire had been through there. And I'm quite a skilled gardener. I have an allotment where I grow flowers as a hobby. And I was watering my allotment and my flowers were doing all right. And if you water it, when you've got a lot of sun, they do really well. But because my nan's old school, I was sort of saying to her, I was like, I know there's a hosepipe ban in place, but just water it once, just so you don't lose all your plants. I thought they were all gonna die. And she said, no, there's a hosepipe ban, I can't do it. So she left it. And I really thought she was going to have to replace all of these plants in her garden because it was just so dry and everything was dead. So carries on, there's no rain. So that was a period of complete drought. The moment the rain came, everything came back to life with more vibrance than I've ever seen it. Her garden had never looked so beautiful, and it all came at the same time. And the thing with gardening is, there's usually a time in the season for everything. So first the daffodils come up. Camellia is usually around that time. It's an early plant. Then later on the roses come in, and then so the peonies have their time. There's a certain time within the season. But everything came up at once because it was all had no water, and then suddenly that life-giving energy came, and all of the blessings and all of the fruits came at once. And that doesn't make much sense because normally things come at certain times in the season. So I would encourage you to remember that you might be in a period of drought, but you don't know how that can turn into blessings. So although on the surface everything looked dead, underground in the roots and the tubers and all of the bulbs of the plants, they were still accumulating energy, and they were still raring to go. They're just waiting for that opportunity, and the opportunity will come for you, and you've got to be receptive to it. You can't get attached and identified with this drought period like that's just you forever. Another example is I live on the Isle of Wight, and we have a music festival. So hundreds of thousands of people walk over the grass of the fields. They host it in a field, and it's often during the summer, and the fields go from beautiful green, because the festival's over about a week. One day it'll be a beautiful green field. A week later it'll be completely trampled and broken down, and that might be you in your life at the moment. You know, it's all dry and desolate, and you feel beaten down by life. And you think that grass is never going to come back. They're going to have to sow seeds on it or something. One day's rain, you can drive past Tuesday, it rains, on Wednesday it's all green again. It just comes back in abundance so quickly. So it's worth noting that with all the plants, the peonies, there's unseen work going on underground. You don't see it. You don't know what's going on under there. But as soon as that water comes and the blessings are given, they burst forth. So you could be ready to do that. It's like a coiled spring. It's just got all that potential energy ready to let go. So I've got a couple of Bible verses that illustrate this beautifully. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So you don't know what the purpose is and what the meaning is in this period of drought, but there is purpose and meaning. And if you don't get identified with it, you don't get attached to it. It's like the plants. They don't just go, oh, it hasn't rained in 3 months, I'm just going to wither away and die. No, they sit there patiently. They go, right, we've got to conserve energy. We've got to use this time wisely, because we've dealt with this before. There's been droughts before, but the rain always comes. It's inevitable. It's not going to not rain ever again. That's like in your life saying, I've had good times, but now I'm in a period of drought and bad times. They're never coming back. You wouldn't have that delusion about it raining. If it doesn't rain for a week, you don't start panicking. And bearing in mind, the plants are rooted in the ground. They're stuck. They can't just walk down the road to where it's rained. You have free will to exercise and change your environment. The plants don't. They just sit patiently and wait, and maybe that's to their benefit. We move about and think we're doing it, but we're not. You're just waiting for the rain to come. And then Jeremiah chapter 17 verses 7 and 8. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord. He is like a tree planted by water that sends out its roots by the stream and does not fear when heat comes, for the leaves remain green. So this can be you. You might be in a period of drought, and that's pretty normal. That's just seasons of life. The plants don't panic when it hasn't rained in a week. They just wait patiently. And as soon as it rains, they're ready to go. They take that blessing and run with it, and they flourish, and they have more beautiful flowers than they did last season. So just a word of encouragement today to maybe adopt this mindset. Look at the drought in your life and don't try and do too much. The plants aren't still trying to shoot out new leaves and new plants, new flowers. They lie dormant. So during this period of drought, sit and wait. Be dormant, meditate, pray, be grateful, sleep. There'll be a time when it rains again to nourish you, and then you burst into life. Hope that helps. Speak to you soon.